What are we going to make for today? Well, today I'm going to make some salmon fillets that I'm going to do in a teriyaki sauce, my own version of teriyaki. And then I'm going to do some roasted vegetables that I'm going to put on the grill. They come out really nice on the grill. It's kind of special.
All right, I find that what works well for a teriyaki sauce is three basic things. You want to have something that's sweet, something that's got a little bit of saltiness, and something that's got a little bit of tanginess. So I like to put about a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of honey as my sweet base. Then my soy base is about 2 or 3 tablespoons of soy that's going to give me that saltiness and a little bit of umami in there. So that's my my second thing. I like to use a little mirin to kind of round out the flavors a little bit, and that's going to be about the same amount as I have of soy sauce. Then from there, the last thing I'm going to use is some sort of alcohol. Now, typically I'd use sake. I didn't have any sake this day, so I went ahead and I used some white wine, which is just fine. You could also use something like vodka or a gin or bourbon or something else too. You just want that sort of tanginess that comes from the alcohol. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in there as well, just to kind of give it a little more bold flavor. And then I'm going to mix that together to make sure that it becomes sort of a liquid thing instead of being a paste or having the honey kind of seize up on the bottom. I want to make sure that I've got it all together. Now, I like to add a little balsamic to it too, because I think the balsamic just adds a richness that otherwise you don't get. You could also add apple cider vinegar if you want. The mirin may be enough for you, and that's an option as well. From there, I'm going to go ahead and take my salmon fillets. I've got a couple of pounds of salmon here, and I'm going to go ahead and open them up and put them right into the marinade. So this is a great marinade that works really well with salmon especially, though you could use it for other things as well. I like to put my salmon in there. I put the flesh side down, skin side up, and then after I've got it in the pan, in my dish, I'm going to go ahead and spoon some over the other side. I like to get it kind of mixed in and married in a lot. Even though this side is just going to cook on the grill and then burn off, that's enough for me that it gives it a lot of flavor, and I think it helps just kind of with the marinade. So I'll just spoon it over the top, and then as soon as I've got that done, I'm going to let it sit for about an hour, sometimes a little longer, but around an hour is generally enough time to give it a lot of flavor. It'll soak up a lot of that richness and become really delicious. Now I'm going to go ahead and slice up some vegetables. So I've got some red onion I'm going to use, so I'll go ahead and slice up a whole red onion, and that's going to go on the grill too. It's going to provide a nice vegetable that's going to go along with this and accompany it really well. So I'll slice up rings here basically, and I'll put those in a bowl and set them aside. And I just want a nice thick ring. It's got to be thick enough where I can work with it. Then I like to use some zucchini, and I cut the zucchini on the bias so that I have a little bit of a nice big piece that I can put on the grill. I'm going to grill all of these along with my fish, and that's what's going to make it so tasty, because everything gets a little grilled flavor. I take a little squash as well, do the squash the same way. Just make nice thick pieces that I can put on there. I don't want them to be so thick that they don't cook all the way through, but I want them to be big so that they'll fit on there. Then I'm also going to put some mushrooms in here too, because I think some mushrooms are always nice on the grill. They come out really tasty that way. So I'll put the mushrooms in there, and then I'm going to add some olive oil to the whole thing. I think the olive oil helps it to make sure that it gets a little flavor and also doesn't stick to the grill, and it's really a helpful thing to do. So I'll go ahead and mix that together with my little bit of olive oil, and now these are basically ready to grill at this point. They're ready to go on, and I can start my cooking process in just a moment. All right, so let's get the grill going here. I've got my fish. It's been marinating for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and just take the 2 pieces out, and I'm going to put them skin side down onto the grill. I like having the skin on them because then the skin will actually char up, and I don't have to worry about the fish actually overcooking. So that way that gets a nice flavor, and then I can just scoop it right off of the skin, as you'll see in a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to lay out all my vegetables on the rest of the grill. I can get most of them on the grill. I'll have to do this in batches a little bit because the fish takes up a fair amount of space, but that's fine. I'll go ahead and put some of the vegetables on here to get it started. I'm just kind of going down through my dish here. I have my little bowl where I have all my vegetables, and I'm just going to go ahead and start taking them out one after another and putting them on there in whatever order they're in there. So I have the mushrooms, and I have my zucchini and my squash that were near the top, so I'll go ahead and do those first. So we'll get them on the grill, we'll start them cooking. The important thing is here to have the grill cooking at about, sort of a medium-high heat so that you start to get everything cooking and cooking through. You want some nice grill marks on your vegetables, and your fish, you're just kind of making sure that it actually steams up and cooks through the flesh and gets a nice texture. Now I close the grill for a couple of minutes, then I open it back up and I flip my vegetables. You can see that they're starting to get some nice char on them and actually getting some grill marks, which is what you want. Now I'm going to actually probably wind up flipping these again, so I'll have a total of 4 sides on it, so you get some nice crosshatch marks on them. But the idea is really just to cook them for a while so that you get a nice texture on the outside, but they're still sort of soft on the inside. And that's what you really want. You want some really tasty vegetables. So it's a couple of minutes on each side. The fish itself, I want to cook about 4 minutes on the side it's on with the flesh side up. So about 4 minutes will do that. So we're cooking here. It was probably about, I had the grill closed for about 3 minutes, and now I'm ready to open it up and go ahead and flip my fish. Now, as you can see, I flipped it, and you can see the skin is loose on it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the skin off. I'll just scoop it right off. Look at that, it came right off there. And I'll just hold it there, I'll put it on the side, and I'll take the other one off the same way. Sometimes it sticks to the grill, sometimes you just take it off like this, but then you can take it and you can throw it away. So we flipped them over, and now they've charred on the other side. So it's been about 4 minutes on this side as well. I'm going to go ahead and put them off in the liquid. I've kept the liquid on the grill, so it's warming and it's actually bubbling a little bit, so I know that it's cooking. And it's fine to go ahead and add the fish back to it. I'm going to leave them on the grill while I finish up my vegetables. So I'll just leave them on there and continue to flip my vegetables, put more on as I need to. I see that there's some space, so I'll use some more space for the other vegetables. It's fine to just keep reusing the grill and reusing the grill, keep flipping some, taking some off, getting them ready. The idea is just to keep my grill full and continue to move things. And if the fish stays on here, it just stays warm and bubbly. It should be just fine because it's off the direct heat now. I want to cook it all the way through. You have to kind of judge it a little bit. You want the fish to be nice and tender on the inside, but just cooked. You don't want to overcook it. It's kind of important. So as I finish up the vegetables, I'll start taking them off. They look delicious. They're ready to go. I'll just keep dropping some into my bowl here. And then when I'm ready to take everything off the grill and take it inside and start plating it up. These vegetables are great. I love cooking vegetables on the grill. They come out really tasty. They get a little char on them. They're tender inside, but it's really, really nice. This is one of my favorite things to do, is just cook vegetables on the grill. And the salmon is just a nice, well, in this case, it's an accompaniment in many ways. So I'll just go ahead and finish them off. You can see it takes a little while to do these. I probably cooked for about 20 minutes in total when I was making these to get everything ready and nice and charred and take my time with it. Once it's done, this is what it looks like. This is my fish, and my vegetables are in the dish next to it. And there you go. That's the whole thing. That's everything I needed to do. Really not a very long cooking time, and here's what I come up with. I have rice with it, I have these nice vegetables, and I have this salmon that's just delicious. And I use a little bit of the sauce here and there to just kind of fill in. This is a really nice dish. I hope you try it out and enjoy it. Make it your own.